Welcome, Night Owls, to the Book Club After Dark podcast, an inviting moonlit podcast. I'm your host, Danny.
And I'm Michelle. We review fantasy, romantasy, dark romance, and thriller novels.
All things enchanting, intriguing, suspenseful, and maybe a little spicy.
Each episode features intimate discussions on captivating stories, fan theories, and more. And this is your content warning. This podcast contains mature themes and discussions that may not be suitable for all audiences. Episodes include explicit language and descriptions of mature romance, as well as depictions of violence and other intense subject matter. This podcast is rated R for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Yep. And going forward from here, there will be lots of spoilers for the Ashen series. So we're going to cover today Road of Bones a little bit, and then because we're recapping a little bit, and then we'll also be covering book 2 in the series. So we are going to have spoilers for Kingdom of Claw and Road of Bones. So let's consider this your spoiler warning.
Let's get cozy because the best stories are told after dark.
All right, Michelle, tonight's drink of the episode I'm calling Sunshine. So I don't know, but we have a pet name in this book that's called Sunshine. And I wanted to, given the fact that, again, it's hot as fuck in Florida, in case nobody knew, wanted to have a refreshing drink that embodied the Roa thing that we talked about last episode for drink of the episode. So this is subtly gonna hit you. So kind of like there's Slow Burn and kind of like the nickname Sunshine that we finally get from our Axe Eyes. This is a lemonade with sweet tea vodka. So it's got 2 shots of sweet tea vodka in it. And then it'll creep up on you quick. So I use Deep Eddy sweet tea vodka, but there's plenty of sweet tea vodkas out there that you can choose from. I just prefer the Deep Eddy brand. And then this has Publix lemonade is what I used for it. They have a bunch of different flavors, like a summer special flavor or something. But you can use any homemade lemonade that you want. And it's basically like half and half because you do the 2 shots. This is in a mason jar for those not watching online. Put it in a mason jar, and then I just did my dehydrated fruits. I got my dehydrated lemon up here. But yeah, so this is Sunshine. Obviously, it's symbolic of the relationship between our 2 main characters here, which we have a bunch of main characters, but between Scylla and Axe Eyes, of course. And then we got a pet name, so we've got to have a drink for a pet name. And then again, Roa. Roa's kind of like that spice drink that they drink a lot of. I feel like we did that chai coffee type drink before. This I feel like brings in tea again because it's a brewed element. So I also felt like even though they probably wouldn't have an iced drink, maybe they might have something else that's a brewed element, but they definitely have some drinking in this book where we've got stuff that sneaks up on folks and they may make some bad decisions due to drinking. And I feel like this drink could sneak up on you. So there we go. There's Sunshine. That's our drink of the episode.
That looks delicious, and true Floridian nature has to have the Publix lemonade. And when Danny was mentioned there are different flavors, there are literally all the flavors. Their blackberry lemonade is so good. And I think they have a mango one too. They're like releasing all of like their summer flavors. So good.
This one's strawberry pineapple. That's what this one is. Strawberry pineapple. Yeah.
That sounds so good.
Yes. So it is good. It's delicious. I think it's a really good poolside drink. It's one of my favorites. Yeah.
So next time we're over, next time we come over, you're making one of those for us.
I'll make you a Sunshine. Get you a Sunshine. Get your party started. Yeah, here we go. So tonight we're diving into Kingdom of Claw by Demi Winters. So whether you're reading along with us or just here for the book talk, as always, we are glad that you're here.
Now let's get into our ratings for this book.
Yeah, let's get in.
So star ratings first. Sadly, I actually have a couple of issues with this book.
Really?
I do. So this book took me a lot longer to get through than Road of Bones. And I feel like it's because we introduced Saga more. And we have so we have to develop
a lot of world building.
Story. Yeah, and develop her story. And like, Scylla and Axe Eyes, they're now in a new area, and you're introducing all these characters So I feel like in terms of pacing, this book is a little bit slower, at least from the beginning.
Okay.
I really didn't start getting reinvested into the storyline until Rurik started being his flirtatious self. I'm like, oh, this is an interesting character. I'm intrigued now because he's like flirty and sassy and sarcastic, and I love him. He's my favorite. But so
Yeah,
in terms of
Cassander is
pacing,
one to watch. We like Cassander. He's one to watch.
yes, he is. Yes, he is. So in terms of pacing, that it felt slow to me. So I'm taking off like a partial star there. If you're looking at our star ratings chart, I'm taking off a little bit there. And also the fact that there is reference to a kingdom, which is where Rurik is from. There's reference to a kingdom, Zagadka, which we
I
don't know
know we're
where it
going.
is. We have no idea where it is. And I'm like, okay, maybe just because this is an older series, maybe, let's look on like Demi Winters' website. No. Where the fuck is Zagadka? I need to know. Like, I know it's in the sea, but I need to, like, across the sea, but I need to know what's it look like? What else there is a part of, like, the physical layout? I need an updated map. So, because of that, I'm knocking it down, like, to a 4.6, 4.5, 4.6. Just getting,
I'm shocked. Okay.
those two things, they got me. So, that's my star
Yeah.
rating. Everything else, complex characters, introduce,
You
Rurik,
can't
which
fuck
I'm
with
like, yes,
Michelle and her map. You can't fuck with it. You
listen,
can't.
it's important.
I know. We know how you feel about the map.
I need to know where we are. Yes, I had my qualms. So, but everything else, fantastic as last time. Just those two things. So 4.6 for me. What about you, Danny?
Okay. I think that's really fair. I agree with you. This one was definitely a little bit slower. I do think it's a solid middle series book, though. And I think that we needed that length of time. And I think that there's very deliberate pacing with Demi's writing. I think she wants you to feel how long things feel for these characters. And I honestly feel like some of that is true to her pacing. Like, not everything's going to happen right away. We're definitely going to really feel a true slow burn for multiple characters. All three of for multiple characters. I gotta be careful because I've finished the series up until now. We will feel a lot of slow burns. We'll feel a lot of things, honestly, a lot of feelings. Not all of them are good. We might be really pissed off at some of our folks in this series. But I agree with you on the things you took points off for. Okay. One thing I do agree with you is that the map is not even on Demi Winters' website. We don't get a map of their, we don't get a map. We don't get them, which does bother me because as a visual learner, you see all the reels of people when you're reading a fantasy book, like flipping back and forth. We're in the island of wherever, like you can't do that. You've got to you only have Isildur. You don't have the whole world that we're in, which is frustrating. Mm-hmm. I know. And I go back and I think about, did we dock Brimstone for not having a map of all of everything? We didn't. I don't think. I'd have to go back and really think about it. So
no, I don't think we did because we don't get a map of Zavarin, and I don't think we docked points from that.
No.
But we were not structured then. No, we
also didn't get a map of like the star system and like the galaxy because there's more places that Saris and Kingfisher travel to than just there. But even at the end of Brimstone, we don't get the map of where they're going through these portals. But anyway, I digress. I don't know. So my star rating, you get it out. I'm giving it the 5 because there is not a section on your elements that points to incomplete map. So we have to consider that there's not a section that specifically calls out incomplete map. Can we reproduce this and have an edit? Sure. We totally can. But I'm with you. I do agree with your qualms. I think they're solid. However, on our star system and map rating, We've got the complex characters. We have emotional connection. We have immersive setting. Intricate, original plot. Done. I also couldn't put it down. And I think that's the piece you're missing, is you could put it down. You felt like you weren't hooked right away. You needed a little bit more time. And I think that's very true to middle books in any series. That doesn't, it's not always the case. It depends on the type of series, right? You know, Caught Up and stuff like that. Different, totally different genre, totally different type of pacing. Leather and Lark, again, middle book, very different style because you're looking at a trilogy that's a dark romance series versus, you know, an epic romantic fantasy. You're going to have moments that are a little bit more of a lull. So I understand that. I agree with your voting. I still think for me, I couldn't put it down. I needed to know what happened. I needed to know why we're here. I needed to understand these sisters and all the things that were happening. So for me, it's a 5. There we go.
Okay.
Now I've taken up all this time and I feel like I shouldn't talk anymore, but it's also our show. So I'm going to have to. But that's my vote. All right. Hit us with the spice.
Spice. So this book got spicier. And, you know, I think we had the conversation where the books get progressively spicier just because we have that foundation. So this book does get spicier, but still not. I still think it's more of like a 3 pepper. I don't think there's like, it's not the spiciest, which we'll get into next episode. So I think still like a 3 pepper. There's, I think, 2 scenes in this book. So yeah. 3 pepper, you know, it's 2 chapters, relevant, but, you know, it does drive plot a little bit, just because it's, you know, it's Scylla and her coming together finally, with Axe Eyes. So that's important. However, it's like, it's pretty standard. So I'm just going to say it's a 3, for me.
Do we need vanilla? Is that what we're saying? It's pretty standard. Is that vanilla?
I mean, but honest, I mean, yeah, we're not getting into all the poses. We're not tasting.
Yeah, or like, you know, or like risque locations.
No, we're in
down by the river.
Yeah,
like our girl.
We're not tasting colors yet, you know?
Yeah.
Which we'll get into next episode for sure.
Yeah, we've got a lot to talk.
But they're just down to the furs, you know? It's just, yeah.
Yes, they are. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think I will say this, like this series overall, you know, very good at slow burn. Spice drives plot. Spice is not I'm not saying you could do without romance. You can't, but you could do without the spice. You could have all closed door scenes in this book for the most part, and it would still be successful. You don't necessarily have to have that. Do I like them? Yes, I do. I think that they're good. And I do think in the spice scenes, there are elements that are exposed that otherwise wouldn't be, because you see the Galdor and you see like there's different things, there's different elements that you're able to point to as to why it's there. It's not there just for fluff. It's not there, you know, to fill the page. There's real drive behind why these spicy scenes are added. And I think that build up to getting to them and the emotional turmoil, especially for Axe Eyes, that he's really like going through to get to where he needs to be with his relationship with Scylla. It's telling of the dynamic between the two of them. And I think their bedroom scenes are also telling of the type of people that they are. I think that is going to evolve and change as our story progresses. And we are introduced to different romances on page. So for that reason, I agree with you. I think it is a 3 pepper. And yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
All right. Well, let's get into some discussions about the plot. So in this book, the magic system just completely grows and we get a better understanding, and we still don't fully understand all of the magic, but we get a better understanding of Galdor, the different types of magic. I mean, we have ash bringers, we have the shadow Galdor siphoning magic, you know, this divine manifestation with the old gods, shadow wolves, we have the senses, you know, there's a lot of different things in this book now. So if you were to have any sort of magic in this book, immediately what were you like, ooh, I want that?
Well, I like the siphoning. I like that. that was the first one that I was like, I think I like that the most. But I don't know, your previous, what questions did we get? We had this last year where we had like a series of questions and you're like, oh, if I was going to have magic, I would want to steal the souls. What was it? It was Soul
That
Eater?
was for, yeah, that was for,
So now I'm curious what you're going to pick.
Brimstone. That was for Brimstone, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the siphoning magic is very helpful for sure. Which we find out that has a lot to do with Scylla's power. Senses, Saga's power fucking sucks. I could not. I don't want to know what everyone's thinking. Let's be honest. And like you have to block that out because everyone's just like, that's like chatter. I would be overstimulated all the time. Like I can't even take
My girl already has
the baby crying and right, having the baby cry and the toddler talking at the same time. I'm like, mommy's about to lose it. So I cannot have Saga's power at all.
Mommy needs a glass of sunshine. That's what she needs.
Mommy needs a lot. I think, and I didn't think I would like the shadow dog or the shadow wolves at first, but they're actually really, like, you go invisible. And like you like become one with the shadows, and then like you literally fight invisible. I'm like, that's actually pretty badass. Being able to, true introvert. I want to go undetected. I want to go somewhere and no one notice me and no one talk to me and let me do my thing. That's
and I like, there's like we get a lot of animals in this book, and we get introduced to more animals as the series continues. And I really like that about this series is we get a lot of pets. You know how we love a good pet. Yeah. We get a lot of pets in this series, and animals that pop up, and animals that deliver messages. We get all kinds of stuff. So I really enjoyed that. Even though that's a different type of magic, it's still definitely interwoven into the series. And I like my animals to have magical powers. I want my dog to talk to me. Like, come on, what gives? Why can't we have that?
Sometimes. I would sometimes like my dog to talk to me. Other times, feed me. Feed me now. Like
that's fair. Like, we got it. Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. Shh. Okay, so with their power, what I really enjoyed about Demi's storyline is, the power doesn't just come. It's integral part of like their growth and development as characters. So we have two major storylines here, right? We have Scylla / Issa, her journey, and then we have Saga's journey. So which did you find was more interesting to you, and maybe that you connected with, maybe not personally, but but just a connection more?
I'll be frank, I in this book in specifically, I had a hard time relating to Saga. And I think part of that had to do with, I mean, frankly, she has a disability. So her disability is that has agoraphobia. It's not identified as such in the book. They don't call it that because that's not the word that they use. But for her, a lot of her issues were something I couldn't personally identify with, but I understood the isolation of. But in this book, I identify with her later in the series. I actually love her a lot later. In this book in particular, I really liked Scylla's journey. And I think our focus was a lot more on hers, even though we had the two, and we really got a lot more of both of them. The Scylla Issa journey, her really trying to come into her own in this book was what we were trying to, I think, understand more about her character, because it sets the stage for where she needs to be later. And it also gives us time to kind of, in parallel, we have this other storyline going on while these things are happening. And what I think is really cool about the saga Scylla is the mind speak that they as sisters have. And what I really like is, and they're not aware of it, but what I like about it is that it speaks to family. And I think at the root of this story, the Ashen series is really about two sisters and their love of each other, and overwhelmingly about diverse families and found families. And what does family really mean? Does it have to be family of blood or not? And what does that look like? So for me, I know that was like a very roundabout way of saying that, but I think this is Scylla's book. This is Scylla / Issa. And then we get a glimpse of her. I don't think our true love and understanding of Saga happens until later in the series. That's when I really love her. And now I really, at this point, now that I've read, all of it, well, we don't have our next book, but I've read a lot of it. I am very happy with both of their lines of stuff. But my favorite is Tekla, honestly.
No, yeah. That was an option, Danny. That'll be an option next week.
So I'm just answering your question.
I was actually more interested in Saga's journey. I know we got glimpses of it, but I kind of knew I kind of had a prediction of what Scylla's journey was going to be. Like, you have this power, you need to train, you're probably not going to enjoy it. I found her journey in this book a little bit more on the predictable side, just because it made sense. Like, she has to learn how to have her power. She has to accept that she is Issa. She has to be able to unite these different clans. So, it's not that it was, I'm not saying at all that was poorly written. It's just, it made sense that was what her journey was. With Saga, it was more of a...
You're saying.
Right.
You're saying that it's the typical FMC romantasy storyline, which there's nothing wrong with. We're not hating on that. We're just saying there's a level of predictability to it because the story has to go logically somewhere. I got what you're saying.
That's exactly it. And then Saga's was more, I liked how Saga didn't even know where she was going. And so I felt I was more curious about what was going to happen.
Our girl was lost.
She was. She's in the cave. She doesn't know exactly what's going on. And I felt I was more curious about her. I was more curious about Cassandra. But I was definitely more curious about her and how she fits. And how she fit in this family. And because we didn't get a whole lot of backstory in how Scylla even wound up in Road of Bones. Like, we got a little bit of glimpses, but Scylla herself was in denial this entire time that she's Issa. So she was holding back to the reader because she herself was holding back. Where Saga, there was a lot more of,
we've got a lot going on.
Right, a little bit, yeah. But Saga, there is this more of a backstory, and I like more of the standard political plays there. It was very just, what's the word for it? Like feudal era, kind of. I know it's Viking, but it's like, you have the queen and you have the court, and you're kind of like, it's like a chess game. And I loved chess growing up, so I like the strategic play of all this and who holds the power or not. So I just found that a little bit more interesting, and
that ending.
Listen, that I was like, I'm sorry if I read this book when it released, I would have been pissed. I would have thrown it. Like, Demi is great about writing cliffhangers.
He likes a cliffhanger.
And not but not cliffhangers where you're mad at that it ended in that sort of way. It's like I'm mad that it ended and I don't know what's going to happen next. So
great, you have no idea. Yeah, she's really good at that.
A cliffhanger. That she is.
She also, what she's really good at too is recaps. She does a recap at the beginning of every book, which bless her. We love that. Thank you for that. We appreciate you.
She has the reader in mind.
Appreciate you. Yes.
I will appreciate this when book 4 comes out, because I'm like, I'm sorry, I will have read 100 books since then. So
great. Yes. Honestly, with that guitar and all our other stuff that we've got to do. Yeah. By the time we get there. Absolutely.
Okay. So in this book, there's more of a complex nature of the lore starting to happen, which I love. I love a good lore, and here are our tokens, and they connect in some sort of way. So we understand the gods. So there's Mirkir, god of chaos, and Rokur, which is the other god, and there's the play on fire and ice, and then we have our 4 symbols of basically like what, the downfall of the entire kingdom. The serpent, the dragon, the tree, and the queen. And I'm like, ooh, I get to find what these are. So immediately I'm like, puzzle, yay. So what did you think about being introduced to all of this? How did you think it played in this book and how it set up for like the rest of the series? I want to know your thoughts on all of the lore building in this book.
Okay, so God of Chaos by far is the most intriguing to me. And I think it's because Mirkor is, I mean, we really start to get to know him as the
Yes.
series progresses.
Mhm.
But I think that there's a burden here for Scylla, but also I think it just it speaks to sacrifice and again, what we're willing to do. So for me, I think that there's a fear of Mirkor to a Volsic resuming power. We know that the Volsics historically have had unique magics, and I think we start to really unpack the Volsic line a lot more in this book, and that continues as we go through the series because we couldn't get any of that in book one. Book one really just like established the baseline. Here's kind of where we're at. This is where Scylla's at. And we are very much in Scylla's, I don't know what's going on. And I'm recovering from an addiction to these leaves. And I've got a lot of issues. And I really don't understand. And I've been suppressing my whole life. And now I've got to try to like start to rebuild. And we finally get into that complex magic system in this book that we weren't able to get to until now. It starts to establish itself, but I think the complex character of this is a character that Mirkor is a character that we get more of in later books who we've not ever actually seen physically, I guess is the best way to put it. It's a really complex way that Demi has written this character in. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how that all unravels. So I have enjoyed that piece. I also think, and we get into this later, but one of my favorite parts is like the mist and the lore around the mist and what all that means. We get a little bit of that with Axe Eyes and with the things that go on. But even between the creatures that support different gods or resemble or are part of different gods, I think it was really intentional of Demi, and she's done a very good job reeling us in to be interested in these different things of like, well, we haven't seen one of these in, however long, and it's symbolic of this, and just all these different tie-ins that I think that Viking element, and then also the ability to keep the reader engaged while also introducing a lot of complexity was done well in this book. And so again, Mirkor for sure is somebody that I instantly was like, this is interesting. This is dark. It's very dark. There'll be more.
True. Yes. Very true. I like how the gods are active in this book, because a lot of times when in books with gods, they're kind of like a passive like curse, or they represent
whatever.
But here they're like they're inside you.
And possess your body. A little different.
So I like how they are active for the most part, especially since the whole reason why like all this has started is, we have this invasion of this people that represent or that worship like the bear god. So now the gods have like an active role in playing how the rest of the people, like how like their lives are going to be. So I liked that aspect. Again, I like how there's in this book we get the serpent, right? We get the demon serpent and her little demon babies in this book, which are really cool.
I feel bad for them, honestly, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was cool that they're ice serpent.
That was cool. I liked that they were ice serpent. She was like buried in the bottom of the lake. I was like, damn, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and that whole scene where she's like fighting the serpent underwater, I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, you have a disadvantage here. What are you doing? Like, what?
So why'd we go in there? What are we doing? Anyway, that's the topic.
That whole scene was great. That was a great scene.
Yeah.
And then we don't get the dragon yet. Tree
Right.
comes in to play in Roots of Darkness, but then Queen is still like a question. Like, which Queen are we talking about? Are we talking about like
Correct.
true Queen? Are we talking about the evil
It's the
Queen?
true queen. Yeah, we don't.
Which one
Yeah.
are we talking about here? So there's still a question there. I like how she keeps that open. Like we can kind of check them off. But
Hmm.
for a queen, it's like, which queen is this? Because the evil queen that is now on the throne, is she the one of the prophecy, or is it talking about someone else coming up and taking the
Yeah.
throne back? So,
Well, and
um,
then we see that dynamic really, the Scylla and Saga, who's going to be queen dynamic, really come into question a lot more as the series continues. And so the mystery surrounding that, um, from a complexity of their characters and how they grow and change in these novels, we see the whether they believe in themselves that they could be queen or not changes over the course of their journeys. So
right.
I think that even further adds mystery to which queen are we talking about.
Mhm. Right. Um, and then so my next question is about the Shadow Daddy. We have Ray, who
Yeah,
he is a
we
Shadow
do.
Daddy. And we love a good Shadow Daddy. But then I saw this reel by our friend Stephen Walker,
Uh,
and
uh, uh,
it's talking about how the trope of the Shadow Daddy is so overplayed. Like it's something that we see in a lot of romantasy books. And my question is, do we think that's an overplayed trope? Like, would
Excuse
Ray
me.
work as someone else, or is
I'm
this
sorry.
we keep our shadow daddies?
Okay, respectfully, is the damsel in distress overdone?
I mean, yeah.
Is the female heroine who figures out how to fight and save herself overdone?
Okay.
Okay, I don't want to hear it. No. We have these tropes.
We love our
We like
shadow daddy.
our comfort reads. If we want a shadow daddy, then we'll have a shadow daddy. And I don't need
Okay,
this type of negativity in my life.
Steven.
I just, yeah, need it, Steven. We don't need it. We don't want it. We don't appreciate it. Thank you anyway. It's been noted.
I was nice.
That's it.
Okay,
Yeah.
there's that. Ray has to be the shadow daddy. Ray needs his shadow power. Um,
Yeah.
I guess there comes a balance because we have the in the Ashbringers, right? There's like the fire, and then like there's
Mhm.
like the shadow aspect of it. So light, darkness. There has to be a balance. I feel like that's what the gods represent in this book too. There always has to be a balance. Like it's referenced multiple times about the balance of powers, and even with Miracure, the balance of a life for a life.
Yeah.
If you barter with a god, it's like okay. I can take a life, but you have to give me a life, and the obscurity and what that means in keeping the balance. So, that's
So
just I
just like
like
that
how the
Mirror is like out during spicy time. He's just like, yeah, I won't
I'm gonna
be joining you
slumber.
for this.
It's like the dragons with in Fourth Wing. I'm just gonna click that aspect off, and
I
we're
just
gonna
like that Demi let us know that, because she knew. She knew people were gonna be like, where is he
where's
just
the
hanging
god?
out? Is he just like, is this voyeurism? What's going on here?
No, he's
Are we hanging? Are
slumbering.
we like, what are we doing? Yeah, it's
He could
hilarious.
care less about the the things of the mortals.
The mortals, we can't be bothered with
No,
the
we
things of the
can't. We just need
mortals.
their power, kind of. But yeah, we
Yeah,
can't be bothered with that. Okay. Next questions have to be about our new characters. We get a ton of new characters in this book.
we do.
Because we don't have our gang anymore. They're off.
No, we
So
don't.
we have our
Yeah.
new group of people. So I want to know who has now been your favorite side character that's been introduced in this book.
I really liked Axai's family, like pseudo family members that he grew up with that get introduced and like their journey north to Copa. I liked Vig and I liked understanding Axai's character a lot more through the eyes of other side characters who are not part of, you know, the Blood Axe crew. Because with their background, we get a better understanding of his world, what he grew up with, even his grandmother. I liked those characters in this book. I thought it set it up well. I also, even though not truly a side character. One of my favorite characters, who's your favorite character, Cassander. We get a lot more of Cassander in this book. And I really, really liked. And we will get more of the queen, yeah, and we get some of her, but I do like her, even though she's the villain. I still think she's well developed, and I like how villainy she is. I liked getting more of her, and we'll get a lot more of her as the story progresses. But I still liked what we got. So, yeah,
right. I would agree. I would agree in all aspects. I liked Vig because him and Ray would be like, Ray would call him like twig arms, and he's like, I'm strong arms. Yeah. So it's like,
yes.
picking on your childhood friend. So I liked that dynamic. Cassandra's
Yeah.
just swoon worthy. I just he has his own accent, and he's just, he's sassy, and so I can't get enough of him. Signy, I found it was interesting with her character because she kind of paints herself not as a damsel, but someone who's been a product of her environment, who's had to make sacrifices. So you kind of you feel for her. She's become this like
you can empathize with
because
why she's so protective of her own and why she has kind of kept her enemies close. I mean, can you really blame her?
No,
her husband's kind of a douchebag. I mean, like that's what we're
understatement.
Yeah.
Statement. And like honestly, she wants, like, yes, she does want power, but she has 2 children, and she wants security for them as well, which as mothers I think I can
so much to ask.
Can empathize with. It's, do I agree with how she goes about things? Not necessarily. Especially in the next book.
Trauma. She's got a lot of trauma. Okay, we're working through it.
I don't think she's working through it, but she does have trauma.
We love that for her. Exercise your demons, girlfriend.
I do like how Demi and basically all of her characters, trauma does shape them and how they act, how they behave, what their driving force is. And that's like, you get Harpa's story too. Like Harpa is Ray's grandmother. She never wanted to be a mom. She never wanted any. So she like, you have this apologetic moment where she realizes how much she fucked up, but it's like, I didn't ask for this life. Like, I'm not built for this life. Like, I did the best I could. And with her storyline, there was a lot of that spoke to like parenting and motherhood that just kind of resonated with me. Like, having to take care of your child's child because your child is no longer there and present and able to do so, and the gravity that has. So that I felt that was like a really heartfelt storyline. But trauma's a big thing in this book, and it drives basically all of our characters.
Yes,
and they even get and they get more of the backstory where the original trauma happened with Scylla and Signy's parents, and like how Scylla was like 3, I think 2 or 3 when her parents were murdered. She was very young. She doesn't remember any of it,
and then they like sacrificed another little girl, in lieu of. I mean, there's a lot.
Yes, there's a lot to unpack.
She's been on the run like her whole life. Then you have Saga, who has acute agoraphobia, severe anxiety, just a mess. Yeah, they
and she kind of bears the weight of the kingdom on her shoulders. Like she's constantly saying, "Those are my people. Like those are my people. Yeah. Like I am the rightful heir, but I'm trapped, and I'm trying to do me as." She's 22, 23, I think, in the book, trying to do what she can with what little power and influence she has, so that's why I found her intriguing. Like she's trying to, with the notes with Anna and, which that was awful, watching her like get, yeah, that was an awful one. But you learn more about Saga's power there, and trauma. This is trauma. Just slap it on the book. Trauma. That's what it is.
Oh, are you looking for 400 to 500 pages of trauma. Here, read this.
Here, I can give you a whole list of things that you can read. That is primarily what I read. There's nothing wrong with me.
No, we're totally fine. Everything's fine.
Fine here. It's good.
Well, okay. So did we trust Cassander? Did we trust Rurik?
Yeah.
We did?
Honestly, okay. So I felt
because I don't think he handled that well at all.
No, he didn't. But I knew my guy. I knew he was going to come through for us. He had to. I feel like there was no way that Demi would be like, here's this guy you're going to fall for, and then he's just going to throw you out into the ocean. And, you know.
But we knew because of the translations. So let's talk about that. So this book has these little, like, it's Russian language, but it's not. Anyway, it has these little moments where she puts like a little, if you're reading it in the Kindle or you're reading it in the physical book, if you're not listening to audio, I don't know how they do it in audio, but in the physical book or the Kindle, she has the words that he's saying, which is a foreign language, and he's answering her in his language, and then she doesn't speak it yet, of course, but then, you know, you read to the back of the chapter and it's like highlighted what he said. So you know, like, she can't understand it. So for her, there's so much more risk to what's happening with him because she doesn't understand what he's saying. But we get, and it's intentional from Demi, a better understanding of how to trust him because we can translate what he's saying. So we're not left in the dark as to what's actually going on between them as much as Saga actually is. And so that further emphasizes on the top that she already has anxiety and agoraphobia. Now our girl doesn't speak this guy's language, and he's just like deliberately responding to her in a language that she doesn't understand. And so I think that just further complicates an already complex situation. Yeah. So it just gets even worse.
I will say when he kissed her in the garden, I'm like, no, why would you do that? You're out in the open. Like, why would you? Like, it was giving Akatar when Tamlin was kissing Farah, like under the mountain. Like, why? Of all things you could be doing right now, we don't need to be doing that. So I was like, this is gonna be bad.
Not worth it. Yes,
and I feel
gonna be bad. And
then obviously, it was very bad. Do you feel bad for what's her name? Ursa? That's her name. Do you feel bad for Ursa and her ending? No? Okay. Even though she was like, I didn't know. Okay. Fair. Same. Fair. Girl had it coming. Keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sneaky little brown noser. Didn't have to say anything.
Mind your business. Mind your business. And
she fucked around and found out.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
Jonas
becomes a complete POS by the end of this book. You know, he's awful. He's going through so much trauma that he can't do anything with it. He doesn't know what to do with himself. We understand why, but the snakes thing was diabolical, and he is pretty shitty for the whole thing. And he continues on this path. We don't see him start to make any better choices just yet. But yeah, I think we really get the full Jonas story arc. It sets the stage for his villain era as well. And I think that was a very interesting part of this book. What do you think?
I think so too, and I think that it's because I do love a redemption arc. I think this book solidifies that is likely not going to happen for this character, and I'm a very hopeful person when it comes to like redemption arcs.
He's not learning,
you know. No, he's not learning, and it's not like. A lot of time with redemption arcs where I'm like, okay, I can see it happening is, you know, we have someone who's younger who, you know, didn't know better, or, you know, was acting under the guise of some sort of like familial figure or, you know, lots of trauma, you know, made some mistakes, really just needs therapy. This isn't like some mistakes. He's literally actively going through multiple layers of very difficult steps to make sure Scylla dies. Like, it's not like, okay, I'm angry, I'm gonna act out of anger this one time. It's like, okay, you act out of anger, you know, give your repentance, go to therapy. he is literally continuing on this journey, and he even reflects on, in his POV
He knows
chapters.
it's not. Yeah,
He reflects like, I know I shouldn't be doing that. I know I shouldn't be there. I know Ray would be disappointed. I know all this stuff was happening, but I'm gonna still keep going. So this is where I know I'm like, there's no redemption arc for you, buddy. I'm sorry. You're gonna do what you do, or who you do, who win in the next book. So I just thought it was interesting that we don't know who. But it was interesting that Demi really set that up where he continues to be more of a villain and goes into that journey, and there's likely not going to be a comeback for him. He's kind of gone to past the point of no return at this point in time, especially after the snow.
And I think too, the other side of it is that he really truly lacks emotional intelligence and maturity. His response is a very typical response to just, I'm angry and I deliberately do not want to feel anything else. And I know that I don't want to feel anything else. And I am okay with that response. And that's going to have consequences. So
that is, we'll see, and we hope we see them. We hope we see his consequences, because at this point it's like, bro, you need to chill out. You need to.
So what do we think of the ending? Where are we? Where do we think we're going? What are we excited for?
I was very. We have our beast. We have our beast. Finding out that Cassandra, which like he hints at, he's called like the beast. Beast of the Gatka. So I'm like, he's a shapeshifter. I love me a shapeshifter.
We knew. We knew. And when you asked about magic, I was like, we don't have shapeshifter on here, and I feel like because it's not like a Galdor one.
No,
but definitely it's his. Like I really like.
I feel like it's a bloodline. It's a bloodline thing. With Zagadka.
That's fair.
So they have like their own stuff.
Yeah.
Which I loved. I love how in the end he just like completely obliterated the traumatizer of Saga. I kind of wish she got that herself though, but there are more traumatizers in her life. No,
not yet her book.
Right,
and could she?
No,
I don't know.
Couldn't. But like he's the one that branded her.
I just don't know if she could have. And going back, do we like a damsel in distress? I think the answer is sometimes.
Yeah.
When it permits, and I think in this situation it did. It wouldn't have made sense for me to believe that she would have been capable. And I think that's why I'm okay with him stepping in at this point.
Right. I do like how he like went through extra measures to make sure that she knew she was safe in the ship.
Yeah.
Like no one can come up here. Your doors can be guarded.
Ship.
Right, but still, like he like tried his best. Right. And he like tricked her. Like, he's not going where he said that she was gonna go. And
wow, Michelle, we really like him. Or just like, okay, we're gonna glaze over. Yeah,
did it for her own good.
Yeah,
did it for her own good.
Gonna glaze over that. Not relevant.
What was gonna happen? Like all Mirka is like asleep. She's just,
of course,
the king is fucking nuts. So he was. Hey, no.
We like him because we just like him. That's okay.
Exactly.
A little bad boy, a little toxic. Shifter action. A little toxic. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, girl.
Yeah. What about you? What about you? How did you feel about the ending?
I liked that we finally got Scylla and Ray together. And they overcame some of that and Ray's journey. I think as the main MMC of the first two books, basically, even though he was kind of at the side at the beginning, it was Jonas kind of in the beginning of the first book. In book two, we get a lot more focus of his. And so I really enjoyed watching their relationship build. He also could have made better choices. He did not. He took a long time to get over his own stuff to come around.
Yes.
But again, slow burn, understood. I think that made sense given, again, the level of trauma. And I also what I really like about this series as a whole is Demi's ability to grow multiple characters. So we have multiple leads. By the time we get to the end of this book, we really have multiple people that we're following. It's not just our first, and we had that a little bit in book one, but the world expands a lot by the time we get to this book. And we really don't know where we're going or what we're doing or what's about to go down. And I think that made reading the end of this very fun. It will get us into a really good place when we start to find out more in Roots of Darkness, which the novella was fantastic. And if you skip this novella, shame on you because it's so freaking good. You have to go read it.
So good.
Yes. And then for book 3, we'll talk about that more. But I think that this gave us a very good bridge book to get there. So I enjoyed it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, Danny, why don't you take us down the rabbit hole? What's our bookish rant for this episode?
Yes. All right. So we had some bookish news come out this week on Fae and Alchemy book 3 by Callie Hart. We found out that it was supposed to be releasing in the fall of this year. November actually was when it was slated to come out. Callie released earlier this week that it will be releasing in September of 2027. So a year and a half is where we're at. But that's not really the bookish rant that I wanted to get into. The thing I wanted to talk about was the post and what she said as to what the drivers were. I thought it was really interesting, and I thought it really was a great, relevant down the rabbit hole segment, given how much time we spent on the Fae and Alchemy series so far, our history with the series, and then, of course, what we just have seen overall. And I think that the amount of time that we've given this series, it makes sense to do a down the rabbit hole based on the news that's going on with it. And also the fact that she spent a good chunk of her time talking about mental health and how she reads a lot of our comments and that she sees what comes out. So I'll read a blurb of it. So this was posted through Hotterscape, which was one of her publishers, through Callie Hart's Instagram page. And Michelle, I know you saw it because we texted about it as soon as it happened, because it was like, oh my God, it's being delayed. And honestly, I'm going to be really clear about one thing. We are totally fine with Fae and Alchemy being delayed.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to catch a qualm from us about that. Take all the time you need. We're always going to be here as readers, ready to go. Callie's timeline is her own. And I'm not remotely concerned about that.
We're not entitled to it either.
No, we're not. No, we're not. And so I want to make that really, really very clear. The first thing she writes about is how, it's going to be delayed and, nobody likes a delay and we, these things happen. There's a couple of reasons why. But then she has a thing that says continued in comments. And this is where she says, quote, "This past year has been pretty damn hard. Grief, loss, poor physical mental health, large doses of unkindness, a number of issues far beyond my control that have played roles in this delay with book 3. While the vast majority of readers on the internet are kind, it doesn't go unnoticed that there are some who feel the need to go into another direction. We authors are human beings. We pour everything we have into the stories we share with the world, and we do have feelings. Those things we see online, the things that we're tagged in, the things that are posted about us, they have a very real effect. Please know that. I try to make it a point of being available to you guys on here. I love being able to interact, share, and chat with everyone online, and I will keep doing so as long as my mental health allows. Anyways, all that to say, book 3 will be here before you know it. I promise. In the meantime, there's so many fun things on the horizon." So she announced that there's going to be paperbacks for Quicksilver and Brimstone with like bonus art and some other cool stuff. She also announced that she has an extra Carrion bonus chapter for us who are big Carrion fans. So you can get that now on her Patreon and available on her website. So all good news. But the down the rabbit hole segment I wanted to focus on is all the shit talking people did about Brimstone. There were a tremendous amount of people who just talked about a couple things. The first thing was there was a chapter that had that didn't get edited in Brimstone correctly. We talked about that on the show when we discovered it. It was a different segment that we did. And I kind of wanted to ask you, Michelle, what were your thoughts on that, knowing that, so many people, there were so many reels about, oh, now I know what solar plexus is and all of this. And so I just wanted to know like thoughts and feelings generally on her comments, and what you think about all of this from the Booktok Bookstagram space, because we do talk about its toxicity a lot. And I thought that this was a very timely post from her related to that.
I feel like this is a direct consequence of people's actions, because oftentimes people post online thinking they're anonymous in a way. You're behind the screen, you're behind your phone, you're behind the computer, it doesn't matter. This is a direct consequence of, no, these are real people. When you post, like, the whole, what was it? It was like a one sentence where one character was misplaced in a chapter. That blew up. Not the fact that, like, about this book being a fantastic storyline, which still people disagree on. They can fight me. And that aspect blew up. For how good this book was, all the press it got was so negative.
I know.
The new cover. She's releasing a paperback because we have issues with the cover. She's taking extra time for editing, so she does it for her misplaced, which isn't her fault. And it happens. There are so many. Every book I read, there is misplaced something. That's just And a lot of people are, and I will be honest, a lot of it is punctuation. And since a lot of people don't know proper punctuation, I don't want to say a lot, but if you don't know proper punctuation, you're not going to care of misplaced comma, period, semicolon, whatever. You're not going to care as much, even though it is still a grammatical error. But we're going to draw attention because
there'll be whole sentences that don't have quotes. So I'm like, was that person talking, or were they not?
Or were they not?
I guess we're just assuming that they are. Like, I don't know, because I don't have a quote, which is silly. Like, am I going to spend my time? Like, I need to figure that out. It's what it is. It's not a big deal.
Am I going to?
Yeah. Okay. Am I going to make a big deal out of this? I'm not saying that was in this book. I'm saying I read I read a book last night that I was reading that I caught certain things where I was like, well, we should have cut that. That did nothing to move plot, and it was a wasted sentence. Like, we don't need that. It's filler, or whatever. There's many things that, and again, that's my opinion. I'm not a book editor.
And
most of the people on Bookstagram are also not book editors. So why are we caring so much to spread so much hate?
Exactly.
Keep going. And I like your line of thought that this is a direct result of Booktok and Bookstagram. I'm living for that.
Right. It's like when my kid does something bad. It's like, well, that is a consequence of your action. I'm sorry. Now you have to live with it. So people like, I remember like from that post, I was scrolling through the comments and people were like, oh my God. I'm like, this is what you get. I'm sorry. You did this. Anyone who posted something bad. And I did make a comment about the solar plexus. And honestly, honestly, it's not negative because now I know what it is. I didn't know what a solar plexus was. I'm like, oh, okay. Now I know that term.
You will never forget. I don't dislike it. Forget. I actually think it's like, well, because you're not going to see here. I'm going to.
It's a technical term.
A whole bunch of times.
Yeah,
like, I like
it. And it's not like there's a lot of a chest. So
like I was like, all right, I get. I feel like that one would be. Then everybody would be complaining that you use the word chest. Like, you can't win. No, you can't win. Is my point. Yeah,
and I feel like Callie, unfortunately, through all of her popularity, because she exploded in this last year or so, has gotten, for being so viral, she has gotten a lot of negativity. First the cover, now and then the cover the editing.
Everybody had to freak out about the cover,
and
then the story.
Now it's going to be this.
Nothing happened in Brimstone.
Nothing happened.
And the number of people that posted nothing happened in Brimstone and gave it negative reviews, I was just like, did we all read the same book?
So I don't and I don't blame her, honestly, because she's gotten a lot of shit and there's only so much someone can take. Like, if someone says something bad about me, I'm one person, and if it's one person saying something bad about me, I'm like hyper focused. I'm like, oh my God, I'm a piece of shit. Oh my God, I hyper focus. Imagine having thousands of people talk shit about your work. This is something that she poured her heart and soul into. Yes. You carefully curated
loves
these characters.
Like people, loves them. Yeah,
exactly.
We talked to her,
and
it was fantastic.
So, and she's so funny. I love her, and the fact that she literally has to push back almost a year because of the toxicity of the book space is just it just speaks volumes to why are we having this community if it's not
Yeah.
going to be a positive one? Because all of us
And
are
I
fucking
think that,
introverts and we can't make a community out there. So we need a place where we can't
yeah.
be toxic to people. People have
And
feelings.
yeah, well, and that's the thing is like reading that back, you know how hyper curated that was for her to like not offend more people. I
Oh yeah,
guarantee you she like
very
read
careful.
that and reread that and read it again and
Sound
had
I'm like
somebody else
weak.
read it and had,
Yeah.
yeah, like, is this clear? But I'm not being specific of saying exactly what it was. I'm just saying like, hey, I see your comments and the mean ones I also see. Like you could tell that it was very like, but I'm reading between the lines that like Booktok, Bookstagram, you guys got what you deserve. You know, you're gonna spread this hate and have all this stuff to say. Well, guess what? Now you're gonna have to wait. It's
Exactly.
just what it is.
That's exactly it.
So, and also stop bullying our authors. Stop it. It's clearly impacting. She's not the only author this year
No, we've
or even
had this
last year.
conversation so many times, I feel like, where we talk about the toxicity, we talk about bullying, we talk about all these things. And I'm just like, we're a bunch of introverts that like reading
We're a bunch of
books.
readers.
Why,
On top of
why
that,
are we,
we're
why
reading
are
about
we,
characters overcoming bullies. What is going on? Are we not?
we
Are we
hate the
not?
bullies in the book. Yeah. Like
Are
we
we
don't
not
want a
over?
Jack Barlow. Like we want to kill Jack Barlow. Why are we being Jack Barlow? I'm sorry. I can't. We are Jonases. Not we. I mean, the collective toxic group, they're all Jonas. So, we got the community got what it deserved. Sadly, all the ones who have been
I'm here
positive
for it.
are
I'm totally
being
fine with it.
impacted. But honestly, take as much time as you need. If it's for your mental
Of course.
health, take as much time as you
Yeah.
need. Honestly, fuck the haters.
Yeah.
They're just jealous they're not you.
Exactly.
That's exactly it.
Right.
That's what I tell my daughter. Not in those exact words because she's fat. But something more kid friendly. So
Yeah.
Yep. I hope that
And
answered.
that's just it. So it did. And I think that was a really good down the rabbit hole segment. It's timely. It's related to a series we've covered a lot. And I think it really points to the toxicity we've talked about so many times. And it's sad to continue to hear about it. I just hope that the community understands that there are certain spaces that we need to not give our attention to, because if this is what you're going to spew and create or resend or put on your stories that's not positive, why are we doing that? It's someone's art. It's we shouldn't be doing that.
Agreed.
Let's get away from it. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll
Right.
learn. All right, but now it's time for mystery Q&A. These questions have not been shared with either of us prior to asking. So my question to you, because we talk a lot about being moms, but all of our time or most of our conversations are focused on books. So I think it's important that we talk about the reality of motherhood, because oftentimes, like what we see in books on Bookstagram, oftentimes what we see on social media is like carefully curated and it's not realistic. So I want a honest truth. One thing you love and one thing you hate about motherhood.
Oh, I hate the overwhelming mental load. It feels constant. The intrusive thoughts, the constant worrying, the constant overthinking. Did I do everything? Is my son safe? Like just so many things that are chronically going through my mind now that I didn't think about once before I was a mom, because I didn't have my literal heart living outside my body. So on that note, though, I have my heart living outside my body, and it's the most beautiful, breathtaking, incredible thing ever. And I also love it. So I think that's the easy way to say that. What about you?
Okay. Honestly, why are our responses always so similar? My one thing I hate about motherhood, and we're a generation that is like known for this. I hate having to both unparent myself and parent my child. Having grown up in a household where like yelling and toxic behavior is how we parent, sucked. Had to therapy my way out of that one. But like those responses are innate because, 5-year-old Michelle, whenever something happened, like, meh. So understanding that my response to my daughter, if she's doing something, is, I only say my daughter because my 5-year-old, he's still like kind of or 5-month-old, he's still kind of like a blob. So if she does something, like, she's 5, she, like, her brain's underdeveloped, it's unparenting my reaction, because that is the reaction I would have gotten, but that's not the reaction I would have deserved, which is fucking exhausting.
Yes.
Like, it is easy to just scream at a child and be done with it. It's easy to say, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm done listening to you. That's an easy thing to do. Yeah. It is a difficult thing to not say those things and calm down, get on their level, and be like, listen, Let's hear
talk
you.
About why.
Exactly. There's a reason why you're acting like this. 1, we're going to set a boundary and you're not going to do whatever you do. And 2, we're going to get behind why you're acting like that. And then it creates a conversation, which is so exhausting. So hate that part. What I love is I love watching both my children, like, fall in love with each other. Like, they are obsessed with each other. It is like the sweetest thing watching them just love on each other. It's like, I didn't know my heart could expand that much, because we talked a lot about, like, I'm a one and done. I don't want to, but like seeing them like smile and just like be obsessed with each other is just like, oh, my heart. Now just go to sleep.
Yeah.
So
love that.
That's mine. What's your question?
Okay. What is something in your skincare routine that you will absolutely always recommend, hands down? It doesn't have to be a brand, just like an item.
Folic acid.
Ooh. Okay.
Yep. Got to get the dew. I'm sorry. You gotta get that. And as someone who I've like naturally, I don't want to say naturally, I got in a car accident when I was 4, and the airbag blew up in my face. So my skin is like red and splotchy. So I always wear foundation, but having like folic acid really helps with my redness. So fun fact, I was in a car accident and my skin sucks. But
I never knew that your skin sucked. That's interesting. You think that about yourself.
Foundation.
About that.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. That's just, I guess, childhood trauma.
I've seen you without foundation though. But anyway. Okay. Well, mine would be sunscreen.
Okay.
Because I'm super pale, and also paleness has nothing to do with it. You should wear your sunscreen anyway.
True.
So
you don't need sunspots.
I wear sunscreen every day.
Okay. I need to get better. I'll be honest. I need to get better at that. I have my moisturizer has sunscreen on it, but it's like
good.
35 SPF. I'm really bad about like going outside and putting it on my like shoulders and stuff, because I don't have the consequence of burning, so I forget. And I know I might have the consequence of like, having some skin issues later down the road if I don't get better at that. So I'll be honest, I'm awful at doing that regularly, and I need to.
Okay. All right.
So, all right. Well, before we wrap up, let's talk about what's coming up next on Book Club After Dark.
Yes. Next week, we're getting 2 for 1. We've got the Roots of Darkness novella and Dawn of the North. We're looking forward to exploring this novella and the novel with you. So if you haven't read Roots of Darkness novella, get going, because you're going to miss out. And it's really, really good. We're talking Crowns of Nyaxia level importance of reading the novella. So read the novella.
Yes. And don't forget, we want to hear from you. If you have thoughts on the Ashen series or suggestions for future reads, drop a comment below or message us on one of our social media platforms at Book Club After Dark Pod. Show us your fan art theories or anything bookish you'd like to share.
Yep. And you can visit our website, bookclubafterdark.co, stay up to date on our cozy content, and check out our merch.
That's all for tonight. Sleep tight, night owls. Until next time, happy reading.